In English, we can categorize nouns as males, females for humans, and for the things that have no gender, or for animals, we specify them by it. In Arabic, on the other hand, we have only to define nouns as mudhakkar or mu'annath, masculine or feminine. There is no third gender, so only these two genders. Let's find out more about nouns in Arabic in this video. So, in this video, we're gonna talk about nouns in Arabic, الأسماء. We have to know the gender of the nouns, which is masculine and which is feminine. So nouns in Arabic are divided only into feminine and masculine, and there is no third gender in Arabic. So things also have to have a gender. You have to give them they have to be masculine or feminine. Okay. So and masculine and feminine, mudhakkar and mu'annath, can be true. In this case, they are called mudhakkar haqiqi or mu'annath haqiqi. And there can be also غير حقيقي or مجازي. Okay, so it is like an imaginable gender. It's like untrue gender. When we are talking about things, naturally they don't have a gender, but when we need to put them in a sentence, they have to be either masculine or feminine. Okay, so in this case they are called مذكر or مؤنث مجازي. So nouns in Arabic are divided into mudhakkar and mu'annath, masculine and feminine. And each one of them is divided into haqiqi and majazi or غير حقيقي. So mudhakkar haqiqi and mudhakkar غير حقيقي. And the same for mu'annath, mu'annath haqiqi and mu'annath majazi or غير حقيقي, untrue. So examples for masculine, which are true masculine, مذكر حقيقي. We can say رجل, a man, ولد, a boy, or ديك, a rooster. So notice we are talking only about humans and animals. We cannot talk about things when we are talking about true masculine. Let's find examples about مؤنث حقيقي. دجاجة, a chicken. بنت, a girl. امرأة, a woman. So these nouns, naturally they have a gender. So grammatically in Arabic also they have to have a gender, either masculine for مذكر or feminine, and they are called true masculine and true feminine. Let's talk about things which naturally have no gender. So they also have to be مذكر or مؤنث مجازي. Example for مذكر مجازي or غير حقيقي is قمر, moon. قلم, a pen or a pencil. If you want to specify, you have to put another word after قلم. So either it is قلم رصاص, for example, when we're talking about a pencil, or قلم حبر if you're talking about a pen. But generally it's a قلم. And we can say كتاب. كتاب is also مذكر مجازي. Okay, كتاب means a book. Now let's talk about مؤنث غير حقيقي or مؤنث مجازي. شمس, a sun. ممحاه, an eraser. ورقة is a paper, and this is also called مؤنث مجازي. Now we need to identify the gender. So if we want to know, if we want to put the noun in a sentence, we have to know the gender. So how to identify the gender of the words in Arabic? So like other languages, in Arabic there is no clear rule for masculine and feminine. So some words are just called مذكر and some words are just called مؤنث. Like for example, kitab, qalam, and daftar, they are called مذكر. And other words like sana, a year, mistara, a ruler, mimha, an eraser, they are called mu'annath, feminine. Okay? But a wide general rule, we can say that um, in general, nouns in Arabic are masculine unless there is another rule or another thing that points on otherwise. So if there is no rule that specifies that this is feminine, usually this word is in Arabic mudhakkar. Okay. So how to find feminine words in Arabic? Rules for feminine. For the first rule is called التاء المربوطة. التاء المربوطة. Okay, this circle here, it's called تاء المربوطة. If you want to know more about تاء المربوطة, you can also go back to the lesson I made about the letter تاء. Okay, so if you see word which ends by تاء مربوطة, this is normally a feminine. This is مؤنث. Okay, so دائرة, a circle, سيارة, a car, مسطرة. Okay, مسطرة means a ruler. These all words, they end with تاء مربوطة. When we see this تاء مربوطة, then this is a feminine. This is مؤنث. Okay, and we can also transform words or nouns from male to female using this rule تاء المربوطة. Okay, so let's see, for example, معلم, a male teacher, طبيب, a male doctor, مدير, a male manager. Now we need to transform them into female teacher, and female doctor, and female manager. How to do that? We simply just put ta marbuta after this word. So how it will become? It will become like that. So معلم will become like معلمة, a female teacher. طبيب, it will become طبيبة, a female doctor. And مدير, مديرة, a female manager. Now let's see the second rule for feminine. Al-alif al-maqsura. This is called alif maqsura. So if you see words that end with alif maqsura, usually these are nouns for feminine, mu'annath. Okay? So salwa is a noun for a female. Bushra, it's also a noun for a girl. Okay? Dhikra means dhikra means a memory. Okay, so these three words, they end up with alif maqsura, and that's why they are considered as feminine, mu'annath. Okay, now also this rule it doesn't only apply for nouns, it can also apply for adjectives, as-sifat. Okay, sughra, small, kubra, big. Okay, so these are feminine adjectives. So in Arabic also, adjectives has to be either feminine or masculine. So the third rule for feminine, it's called al-alif al-mamduda. This alif, it's called alif mamduda. Also, you can go back to the first lesson about alif in the Arabic alphabets. You can find out more about alif. So if you see words that end with alif mamduda, usually these words and these nouns are feminine, like sama, sky, raja, hope, sahra, a desert. So we say هذه صحراء. We don't say هذا صحراء. We say هذه صحراء. Why? Because this is mu'annath, feminine. Okay? We have an exception here. For example, ma, you see that it has an alif, it has alif mamduda, but it's an exception. We don't say هذه ma, we say هذا ma. So, for example, هذا ماء عذب. So this is a delicious water. Okay. هذه مياه لذيذة. Notice مياه, it's called هذه. When do we say ma and when we say miyah? Usually miyah is when we are talking about huge quantity of water, like in the oceans and in seas, so we say miyah. Okay, so we say هذه مياه and we say هذا ماء. Okay. Adjectives, as I've said, they have to be also either masculine or feminine, مذكر or مؤنث. So adjectives that end with alif mamduda are also feminine. بيضاء, white. حمراء, red. خضراء, green. So these adjectives are also feminine. So why do we need genders? We need genders to know how to write also sifat, the adjectives. So genders in Arabic is not only for nouns, it is also for adjectives. So as-sifat, okay? So adjectives in Arabic follow the gender of the nouns. So if the noun is masculine, of course the adjective or as-sifa has to be masculine, mudhakkar. And if it is feminine, the as-sifa has to be also feminine. So we say, for example, طبيب ماهر, a talented doctor. If you want to talk about female, مؤنث, طبيب, it will become what? طبيبة, right? Remember the rule of ta marbuta? And ماهر, it will become ماهرة. So طبيب ماهر, it will become طبيبة ماهرة, طبيبة ماهرة. Okay? A talented female doctor. أستاذ مميز, a special teacher. أستاذة مميزة, a special female teacher. قمر منير. Notice here, this قمر. قمر means a moon. So a bright moon. We're talking about a thing here, right? So this is غير حقيقي or مجازي. مذكر مجازي, right? Now we will talk about مؤنث مجازي. Okay? So قمر in Arabic it is مذكر. شمس on the other hand is مؤنث. شمس شمس مشرقة, shining sun. Okay, so قمر منير, a bright moon. We can say on the other hand شمس مشرقة. Why did we put ta marbuta? Because this sifa, this adjective is a female, is a feminine. Okay, so it follows the feminine noun. In this case we cannot, there is no ta marbuta, but we know that Shams in Arabic, we have to memorize it, that Shams in Arabic is a feminine name. It is mu'annath, and the sifa has to follow this feminine name, noun. We can also use genders to identify asma al-ishara, or the pronouns. Okay, so the pronouns in Arabic has to follow the nouns. If the nouns are مذكر, they have to be مذكر, and if the noun is مؤنث, the pronoun has to be مؤنث. So هذا, which is this, it can be هذا for مذكر and it can be هذه for مؤنث. Okay, so هذا الرجل, this man, it will become هذه المرأة. Okay, هذه المرأة. المرأة is a feminine, it's a female, so هذه has to be a feminine pronoun. هذا for males and هذه for female. ذلك, so ذلك, that. ذلك الشارع, ذلك الشارع, that street. Okay, it will become تلك. ذلك will become تلك in feminine. So تلك الشجرة, that tree, I'm sorry, that tree. So tree is feminine and this one is feminine also. What else? We can talk about he or she. So huwa or hiya. And they also in Arabic, it can be for male and it can be for female. So huwa طالب, he is a student. hiya طالبة, she is a student. Okay, huwa for male and hiya for female. مذكر مؤنث. Here it is what? It is a true masculine and a true feminine. مذكر حقيقي and مؤنث حقيقي. هم رجال. They are men. Okay. So in Arabic we have to specify they. They are masculine or feminine. We are talking about a group of males or we are talking about a group of females. In this case they are male, right? So a group of males. So هم رجال. They are men. Now for a group of women we say they are women. هن نساء. Okay. هم, it will become هن. Also, the verb in Arabic, al-fa'l, has to be affected by the gender. Or so if the nouns are masculine or feminine, the verb also changes depending on the gender. So darasa Sami. So Sami is a noun for a name for a masculine person, a male. So Sami is a male. So darasa Sami. Sami studied. Darasat Maryam. Maryam is a female, so she studied. Okay, this is here al-madi, الفعل الماضي in the past tense. Darasa, the verb will become in the past tense. In al-madi we put this is called ta at-ta'nith. This ta is for al-mu'annath. We put ta in this verb to identify that this verb is talking about a mu'annath, which is in this case Maryam. يأكل سامي. So Sami is eating now. This is in the present tense, al-mudari'. So we need to talk about a female here. تأكل مريم. So Maryam is now eating. Okay. Notice the verb started here with ya for masculine, for mudhakkar. It will become what? This will become ta for feminine. Okay. يأكل سامي. تأكل مريم. Now we'll talk about imperative or فعل الأمر. Okay. So اذهب يا سامي. Go away Sami. Okay. And ya here it's called ya anida. We're calling someone. So Sami, go away from here. Now we need to talk about imperative for females, for feminine. اذهبي يا مريم. Notice the ya here. Ya here in this verb represent that we are talking about a feminine, a female, which is Maryam in this case. So اذهب يا سامي, go away Sami. اذهبي يا مريم, go away Maryam. Exceptions. We might find a noun in Arabic that ends up with ta marbuta, but they are also considered masculine, such as Hamza. Hamza is a noun, is a name for a masculine or for a male person. Ubaida and Talha. These are names for males and thus they are treated as masculine. Okay, so we don't say Ja'at Hamza just because we find ta marbuta here. It doesn't mean that this name is talking about a female. This Hamza is a male. Okay, so we don't say Ja'at Hamza. We don't put ta ta'nith for this verb. We say Ja'a Hamza. Okay. For an adjective, for example, Hamza Dhaki. Dhaki is smart. Okay, so Hamza is smart. So we don't say Dhakiya for an adjective. We don't put ta marbuta here because we're not talking about feminine. We're talking about a masculine. So Hamza Dhaki. Okay. Another exception. We can find out also on the other hand that names that they don't end up with ta marbuta, they don't end up with alif maqsura, for example, and there is no alif and hamza at the end. Okay, but still they are nouns for females. For example, shahd, abir, su'ad. These are names for females, so they have to be treated as mu'annath, feminine. Okay, so we don't say rahala su'ad, we say rahalat su'ad. Notice the ta here, ta ta'nith. We're talking about فعل الماضي that ends up with ta, and this ta it's called ta ta'nith. Okay, ta ta'nith represent the words that are feminine. قالت عبير. عبير said. So رحلت means she left, سعاد left, and قالت means she said. Okay, So Abir sat and Suad left. Another exception, which is the last exception in this video. There are nouns in Arabic which can be treated as masculine and feminine at this, and in both ways they are grammatically correctly. They are both grammatically correct. So we can say, for example, tariq and sabil and unuq, and these can be masculine and can be treated also as feminine. Examples: we can say هذا طريق. So we can represent it as masculine in the sentence, or we can say هذه طريق. This is the street. They are both correct. So if we are talking about a masculine, okay, we have to know the adjective. So the adjective here has to follow what? The pronoun that we started. So we started here with هذا, and this هذا represents the masculine. Okay, so we specified طريق as masculine in this sentence. So the adjective also has to be masculine, so we don't put تاء مربوطة here. So هذا طريق طويل. This is a long street. Now if we want to say هذه, now we define طريق as feminine. Okay, so the adjective also has to be feminine. So we put تاء مربوطة at the end of the adjective الصفة. Okay, so we say هذه طريق طويلة. This is a long street, and they are both correct. So this is all about nouns in Arabic. I hope you find this video useful, and thank you very much for watching.